So there it is, my roommate opens the door and I'm just standing there covered in blood, up against the wall, just going, help, help. He grabs me, throws me over the sink, lets me bleed out there. He calls the ambulance, and they end up showing up in like 9 minutes or so. It's like the longest 9 minutes of my life, but they show up, and funny story, when they get to the floor, they come in ready to go, gurney and all, because they think someone's like dead, just all the blood. And I actually run past them, trying to get to the ambulance, thinking that's what's going to save me. And I look to the left and right, I see that the ambulance lights are on this side down the hall, so I take off down that way towards the stairs. And as I'm reaching the stairs, one of the EMTs comes up behind me and he grabs me underneath the arms and he picks me up and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like pointing down. He's like, "Yeah, I get that. We're gonna get you to the ambulance, but," he goes, "we don't run. It's like we're gonna walk together." I was like, "All right." So they end up walking me down and they rushed me down to the Aurora Medical Center, which is the nearest hospital. And when I get in there, they start running all these tests on my head, like X-rays and CAT scans and MRIs and all this stuff, just to figure out why they can't stop the bleeding that's going on inside my face, because no one knew that I had been shot yet. And so they finally get done with all the tests, and at this point, all my family and friends were there at the hospital trying to figure out what's going on with me. And they come out and they're like, "We got good news and bad news." My family's like, "Well, what's bad news?" And he's like, "Well, I know we talked about possibly him having the broken jaw from like being hit with like a bat or a crowbar, but it wasn't that. Actually, he was shot." And right then, the whole room flips. Cops are asking me questions, families sobbing and crying. And they're like, "What's the good news?" It's like, "Well, the good news is not great, but we actually can't help him here. No one here is skilled enough to take the surgery, so we're going to send him off to another hospital." And we're going to pause right there, and I will see you in number 5.